everyone, so today's video is going to be my January wrap-up. Now, I've said this before already in a couple other videos that I filmed in January. I didn't have a great reading month in January, especially in the beginning of the month. I just didn't feel like reading at all, mainly because of my mental health, but also a little bit because of my physical health. I'm not gonna rant about that, that's not what this video is about. It's not like an update on my mental health and my physical health. It's a January wrap up. So I'm just gonna talk about the books and mainly mangas that I read in January. So let's just get into it. So the first thing that I read in 2022 was a BL manga. Now that is a very interesting way to start off the year, but like I said, I didn't feel like reading at all in the beginning of the month. And to kind of make myself get into the reading mood, I decided to read a manga, and that was the first volume of Sasaki Miano. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but yeah, I read the first volume of this. I quite liked it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I didn't like it as much as other people seem to like it because this recently got an anime and people seem to love it. I do like the manga, but yeah, it wasn't as good as I was expecting it to be considering the amount of people that love it. But it is very cute. And I do appreciate the topic. It's basically all about Miano, who reads BL mangas as a guy, and how he deals with that, with people finding out and stuff like that. And yeah, the first volume was an introduction obviously, but it was still quite cute. Again, I didn't like it as much as other people liked it, but I will continue this series probably just because I want to see where it goes and how their relationship develops. So yeah, let's get into the next thing that I read in 2022. So the second thing that I read in January was actually a book, surprisingly enough, but even more surprising was the fact that it was an informational book, which I really didn't think that an informational book could get me out of a reading slump, but for some reason it did, and it probably has to do with the topic that it talked about. The book that I'm talking about is Queer Body Power. This is a book that I got from NetGalley. I got an ARC from NetGalley, and I'm very grateful for it because I really like this book. And I'm definitely going to buy a physical copy because it had some great quotes that I really want to highlight and stuff like that. So yeah, this book was a lot better than I expected it to be. I kind of went into it not with low expectations, but just with medium expectations, I guess. And I have a pretty detailed Goodreads review on it. So if you want to see my thoughts written down more concisely, you can check that out. But I'll give just a couple of my thoughts right now about this book. Now, when I first heard that this book was all about the body positivity movement and how being queer can affect that, I really thought that they would ignore disabled people in the way that disabled people are usually ignored when it comes to the body positivity movement. And what I mean by that is that a lot of the idea around the body positivity movement is thinking about the things that your body can do, and oftentimes they will mention things that a lot of disabled people cannot relate to. They'll be oh, you should be grateful that your body is healthy and functions properly. And a lot of disabled people, including me, will just sit there and be yeah, but our bodies are not healthy and they don't function properly. So are we supposed to hate our body then? Or yeah, so when I heard that this book was about the body positivity movement, I again went into it with medium expectations because again, I didn't think they would mention disabled people, but they did. And that probably has to do with the fact that the author is disabled as well, which yeah, I really wasn't expecting that. It made me feel very seen, and it talked about some very hard topics. Obviously it was a bit difficult to read sometimes, but I feel it really helped me understand where a lot of my body issues come from, because I, again, as the author points out, you grew up in a world where an able-bodied straight cis body is ideal, and if you don't fit into one or more of those molds, you're not gonna feel fully your body is valid in society, I guess. And yeah, I'm not like explaining it very well properly because I didn't write a lot of stuff down about this book, which I probably should have. But yeah, you can check out like my Goodreads review, and obviously you can also like check out the book yourself. I can't remember when it's gonna come out, but yeah, when it does come out, I do want to buy it. And when I do buy it, I might like reread it and highlight like the stuff that I really like about it, and then I'll do like a better review, I guess. My review on Goodreads is still like decently good though, in my opinion at least. So you can check that out if you want like a more detailed review on it with actual like quotes from the book, because I can't quote the book right now because I didn't write anything down. So yeah, you can check out like my Goodreads review for it. I gave it 4 stars, so yeah, go check it out, I guess, if you want to. Then the next thing that I read was also an arc that I got from NetGalley, and sadly enough, I didn't enjoy it as much as the arc that I got for the previous book. The manga that I'm talking about is I'm Looking for Serious Love. Now, this was so much worse than I expected. I was genuinely surprised by how much I didn't like it, and I was very scared to like talk about it because again, it's an arc from NetGalley, and I was very scared to be like, yeah, I didn't like this at all, but I couldn't like lie about it. So yeah, I wrote like quite a detailed review about it on like Goodreads again, so you can check that out if you want like more like concrete thoughts, I guess, on it with like actual quotes again. So yeah, I am still gonna talk about it for a little bit now, not too much though, because talking about this manga makes me feel very uncomfortable. So yeah, so basically one of the main issues that I had with this manga is that a lot of horrible things happen to the main character, like very horrible things. And I talked about it in my Goodreads review because I don't think I can say the words like on YouTube, but I talked about it in my Goodreads review. A lot of horrible things happen to the main character, and they just get brushed over. Like, they just move on from it. And I was just sitting there reading it like, get the kid some therapy. Like, he's definitely traumatized at this point. Get him some therapy. Like, what are you doing? Why are you brushing over all of these, like, horrible experiences that he's having? In, like, a very short period of time as well. Like, I don't know how short, but it must be, like, 2 months, maybe? And so many horrible things happen, and they just, like, move on. And I'm just like, why? Like, at least talk about it. Now, as I also mentioned in my Goodreads review, the guy that the main character eventually ends up with is also not a great guy. Like, he's also done really bad things to the main character. And I swear, if this dude does not treat the main character like an absolute god when they're together, like, I will fight him. I will physically fight him. I can't believe that the main character let him be his boyfriend. Like, I can't believe it. Like, I know that he's very traumatized, and he probably sees like the guy that he ends up with as less bad as some of the other people that he meets, but still, like, the guy's not great. And so if this dude does not treat him like a god, I'm gonna be real mad. And I'm gonna stop talking about this manga now because it makes me really uncomfortable. But yeah, get the main character some therapy. If there is a second volume that's ever gonna come out, I hope it's just like a whole volume of like the main character just going to therapy. That would be a great sequel. You know, just dealing with all of his issues, maybe breaking up with the guy that he got together with, finding a better partner, like, that would be great. But yeah, I didn't like this at all. It made me very uncomfortable. Let's move on. Then next I read the second and third volume of Sasaki Miano. Now, again, like I said, I wanted to continue this manga when I read the first volume in the beginning of the month. So I wanted to continue it, and the second and third volume are a bit more interesting, I think, than the first one. So I think it does get better as the like mangas go on, I'm pretty sure. But not really like an issue that I had, but more like a comment that I had while I was reading the second volume was like, I feel like a lot of like characters in like BL mangas don't seem to realize that bisexuality exists. Because the main character is like so caught up on like, oh, I like a guy now. I think I'm falling for a guy, but I used to like girls. Like, what happened? Am I gay now? And I'm just like, I mean, you could be bisexual. That's an option, you know, like that exists. And I feel like a lot of like characters in BL mangas just don't know that, which that's something that like it didn't really like annoy me about the manga. I just like picked up on it, and I was like reading it and like watching him have like a crisis, and I was like, I mean, you don't have to be gay. Like, you don't have to be. You could be, but you don't have to be. And yeah, I do like the whole story of this, and I didn't hate the second volume just for that like couple like sentences. But yeah, I feel like we need more like bisexual representation in mangas, because I'm kind of tired of seeing characters like react like this to them getting like feelings for someone who's like the same gender as them. So yeah, let's move on. Then next I read another arc from NetGalley, and as you can tell, NetGalley really helped me like read this month. But the next book that I got an arc for from NetGalley was a quick and easy guide to asexuality. So it's basically just like, again, a quick and easy guide to asexuality, just like the basics. And I did already know most of the basics and most of the stuff that they talked about in this book, but I did appreciate reading it. Like, I saw it on NetGalley and I was like, I do want to read more books about asexuality, so why not try this one? I can get an arc from it, maybe, if they like approve of it, obviously, and they did. So yeah, I'm really glad that I read this. Again, it wasn't like all new information, but I did really appreciate it, and I feel like a lot of people who don't know about asexuality will be able to learn from this book, especially because it is so like short and quite easy to read. It's a bit confusing at times, but I feel like you get used to it. So yeah, I feel like this is like a good start for people who want to know about asexuality. So yeah, I gave it 3 stars. Then the last book that I read in the month of January was Actor Age Eve Brown. Now, every single time I say this title, I always feel like I'm mispronouncing it because it's difficult to say. But yeah, I finally read this book. If you've watched my channel for a little bit, you know that I wanted to read this really bad because it has 2 autistic main characters, and I was really excited for that. However, because I knew that the book had 2 autistic main characters, I misinterpreted the entire book until like a very specific point, like 75% into the book. I was like, wait, what did she just say? And basically the thing that she said in the book, which I'm gonna say because it's not really a spoiler, and I feel like if you have heard me talk about this book, I feel like I should tell you, because I feel like I've been talking about this book in a completely like wrong way, with saying that there's 2 autistic main characters. And what I mean by that is that one of the main characters is actually not aware yet that they're autistic, and the other main character like makes them like aware of it and makes them like search it up and like look up like what makes a person autistic, like what are like the symptoms and stuff like that. And yeah, I went into this book completely thinking that Eve was like already diagnosed, and she is not. And I was like, oh, so I just misinterpreted the entire book until this point. And I was like, well, now that I think about it, that does make sense about some of the things that she says. Like, I was like, why is she so ashamed of stimming? Now that I know that she wasn't even aware that she was autistic, I was like, oh, that explains why she's seemingly so ashamed of it. It's because she's not aware of it. Or she's aware of it, but she doesn't know that it's stimming. And I was like, damn, I really need to reread this book. So that's what I'm gonna do someday. I'm gonna reread it with the knowledge of the fact that she's not diagnosed and she doesn't know that she's autistic. Because I feel like someone really should have told me that. But yeah, I'm telling you now, if you want to read this book, Eve does not know yet. Okay, don't go into the book thinking that she knows. She doesn't know. So yeah, I did really enjoy it. This was definitely like my favorite book out of the 3 of them, I think. I do want to like reread all 3 of them one day, just because like they seem like very like fast books to get through, and they're very fun to read. So yeah, maybe someday I'll reread all of them, because like I said, this is a really like fun series in my opinion, even if like the spicy scenes kind of make me uncomfortable. Like, I still really like the books. So yeah, I highly like recommend this series if you want like, you know, romance books with like spicy scenes, but also good representation. I highly recommend these books. They're very good, obviously, like I just said. Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about it now because my arm hurts from holding it. So yeah, let's just wrap up this video. So those were all of the books and mangas that I read in January. Like I already said, I didn't have that great of a reading month. Most of these books I read after like January 15, just because before that I just couldn't make myself read. So yeah, considering I only read for like half the month, I'm still quite proud with the amount that I read, even if most of them were like mangas. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. I hope that February will be like a better reading month for me. I'm not sure yet, because February is going to be a really stressful month for me. I'm going to have like my first doctor's appointment again in like, I don't know, like 4 months. Like, I'm very scared for it. I'm not looking forward to it. Like, as like a disabled person with like medical trauma, I don't like going to doctors, especially like new ones, like the one I'm going to. And yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm very anxious about it. Like, it's literally this week as I'm filming this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video anyway. I need to film another video after this one because I don't really have much time to film this month because of all the appointments I have. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys had a better reading month than me. And if you didn't, that's completely fine. Like, sometimes you just have bad reading months. So yeah, I hope you have a good reading month in February as well, because I don't know when this is going to be uploaded. But yeah, I hope you have a great day, and bye.